All right, so this last video is all factoring. So we're going to knock out this last page, a bunch of factoring. So most recent stuff, probably the stuff you're hopefully most comfortable with. Maybe not all of you, but factor completely for each of these. The first 6 all have an a value of 1. So the number in front of x squared is 1. These should be easy. What two numbers multiply to 20 and add to 9? And that would be 5 and 4. So x plus 5, x plus 4 is my answer on that one. Next one, and I'm going to show you, let's say you can't find the two numbers that multiply to negative 45 and add to negative 4. Again, I'm going to remind you how to do this. I'm going to focus on the negative 45. I want to multiply two numbers to get that. There's got to be one positive, one negative because of the negative in front. So 1 and 45, but there's got to be a negative. Now we can be smart about it. They have to add to negative 4, which means when they add together, they have to be negative. What that means is the larger number has to be negative. This sign tells me the sign of the larger factor. So negative 45. 2 does not go into 45, so I'm not going to write it. 3 does, 15 times. Larger number gets the negative. 4 does not. 5 does, 9 times. 6 does not. 7 does not. 8 does not. 9, there we are again. Done. These are my 3 options. Which one adds to negative 4? There it is. So x plus 5 is positive 5, x minus 9. Okay. 26. Two numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to 7. If you want to try this on your own, so I'm not just telling you all the answers, pause me. Okay. But I know that this is 10 and negative 3, so x plus 10, x minus 3. Okay. Number 27. That to multiply to 2 but add to negative 3. To add to a negative and get a positive when you multiply, they both have to be negative. So 2 and 1 is all I can do. It's the only two numbers that multiply to give me 2, but negative 2 plus negative 1 does give me negative 3, so that works. 28. Two numbers that multiply to positive 49 and add to negative 14. They multiply to positive 49, they got to be the same sign. They both have to be negative. So they both have to be negative here. And that's 7 and 7, right? 7 times 7 gives me 49. 7 plus 7, 14. 29, middle term cancels. If the middle term cancels, that means these two have to be exactly the same except for the sign. So x plus, x minus, right? What times what gives me 1? 1 and 1. What times what gives me 36? 6. So multiplies to negative 36, adds to 0, is what we want. Okay, 30 through 38. All of these have a number in front of x squared. So this is where things get a little more tricky. So what I recommend is, a lot of people just go straight to the magic trick. Be careful there. You want to take a GCF out first if there is one. Does this one have a GCF? It sure does. It is 3. So I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to write it right here. So basically this first step is a lot like what we did on this video here where we took the GCF out. And then now all we're doing a step further is now we're factoring this into something else. So divide everything by 3. I'm going to get x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now that's good news because now the number in front of x squared is 1. We're back to like these problems. Two numbers that multiply to 8 and add to 6, 4 and 2. But you need that 3 out in front to make that accurate. If I FOIL this, it's going to give me that. But now if I multiply everything in here by 3, I'm going to get back to the original problem. 31, is there a GCF here? There is not. Okay, so if there's not, I'm going to go to the magic trick, and I'm going to do 3 times negative 5. I'm going to do x squared minus 14x minus 15. Now I'm going to factor that just like I did on numbers 24 through 30. Two numbers that multiply to negative 15 and add to negative 14 would be negative 15 and 1. And now that foils to that, but I want it to foil back to the original problem. I got to remember to divide by 3. Reduce both of those. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Make sure you keep that sign. 1/3 does not reduce, so I'm just going to leave it. Now I'm going to slide the denominator up front. X minus 5, 3x plus 1. Good idea to check to make sure. X times 3x is 3x squared. Good. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Good. X times 1 is 1. Negative 15. 1 and negative 15 makes negative 14. Good. 32, is there a GCF? There is not. Multiply 4 times 6. I'm going to get x squared minus 11x plus 24. Factor. Again, pause me if you want to try this on your own. Negative 8 and negative 3. Divide them both by the original a value of 4. Reduce. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 3/4 does not reduce. Slide that to the front. X minus 2. 4x minus 3. X times 4x, 4x squared. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Negative 3x, negative 8x makes negative 11x. 33, is there a GCF here? There is not. 2 times 18. X squared plus 15x plus 36. Two numbers that multiply to 36 and add to 15 will be 12 and 3. Divide each of those by 2. 3 over 2 does not reduce. 12 over 2 reduces to 6. So slide your GCF, or sorry, your denominator up front. So 2x plus 3, x plus 6. 2x times x is 2x squared, good. 3 times 6, 18, good. 12 and 3 makes 15. 34 is a special case. You still kind of want to check for a GCF, but I look at this and I say, I know the numbers that multiply by themselves give me 16, and which ones multiply to give me 49. I don't need a GCF here. What times what gives me 16? 4x and 4x. What times what gives me 49? 7 and 7. One has to be positive, one has to be negative, because the middle term has to cancel. The only way for that to happen is if one's positive, one's negative. 35, GCF is not here. X squared minus 17x minus 60. So the two numbers that multiply to negative 60 and add to negative 17. A little bit trickier here. Again, take the time to figure that out. I would pause me right now. I will tell you that it is x plus 3, x minus 20. I will tell you here in about probably at the end of this problem, maybe in the middle of the problem, the bell's going to ring. I'm going to stop talking, but just note that's going to happen. I'm going to divide both of these by 5. Reduce. 3/5 does not reduce. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 5x plus 3, x minus 4. Check again. 5x squared. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 20 plus 3 is negative 17. I see x to the third here on number 36. That's a big time clue that there's a GCF here. Yes, there is. It is, what can I take out of all of these? Looks like I can take out 4x. So my GCF is 4x. Make sure you take an x out, because if you don't, you still have x to the third here. Okay, and that's, you don't know how to do that. Divide everything by 4x. So now I have 2x squared, 7x, negative 15. Right? 2 x's, take 1 out, 1 left. No, 1x, take 1 out, no x's left. This is my new problem that I'm going to factor. So I'm going to take 2 times 15. I'm no longer worried about that 8. Now, I do want this to all multiply back to that, but I can worry about that 4x later. So I'm going to just focus on this part. So x squared plus 7x minus 30. It's actually the same problem as number 26 up here. So I already have that factored. I'm going to go, actually I'm going to go over here. X plus 10, x minus 3. And now I got to divide both of those by 2, not 8, 2. Reduce, x plus 5, x minus 3 over 2. Slide to the front. You get x plus 5 2x minus 3. Again, check. 2x squared, check. 5 and negative 3, negative 15. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7. And then you could multiply all that by 4, and you would get back to the original. 37 is a special case. Middle term's gone. What number times itself gives me 18? That's where you run into trouble. Uh-oh, there's no number that multiplies by itself to give me 18, at least not a good number. That's a huge clue that there's a GCF. And there is a GCF here of 2. Take it, put it on the line, divide everything by 2. I'm going to get 9x squared minus 16. That should look a lot nicer, because what number times itself gives me 9? 3 and 3. What number times itself gives me 16? 4 and 4. But to cancel the middle term, one has to be negative, one has to be positive. Done. Last one here. Is there a GCF on this one? There is a GCF of 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. Put the 3 right down here. So I'm going to get 4x squared, negative 12x, and 9. Okay. I'm going to distribute, or not distribute, multiply 4 times 9. The two numbers that multiply to give me 36 and add to negative 12 are negative 6 and negative 6. And I'm going to divide both of those by 4. Reduce both of those. So I'm going to kind of go this way. It'll be x minus 3 over 2 and x minus 3 over 2. Slide the denominator to the front. I get 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3. Okay, and that is all of the factoring on this study guide. Hopefully that helped. Checkpoint A on Monday, checkpoint B